Sunny ways, my friends. Sunny ways.
Your 16 seconds are up. I'm going to ask you again because nobody believes you when you say you don't know how much money your family has got from the wheat group. You've had a month to look into that. You knew you were going to testify here. Again, how much money total have your brother, mother, and spouse received from this organization? How much?
That information has been publicly shared. But I will highlight.
Well, then tell me what it is.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
We have recently switched to drinking water bottles out of water out of when we have water bottles out of plastic. Away from plastic towards paper, like drink box water bottles sort of thing. Sorry?
The servicing costs on the debt that you're going to have to carry that you're adding to now, right?
Interest rates are at historic lows, Glenn.
Where's the funds?
On the topic, I mean, in terms of your sort of strategy currently, you're obviously taking the populist pathway.
What does that mean? Oh, Justin, you're awake. You made it. Have a seat. Have a coffee. You need some. Wakey time.
Let's cut that Disney Plus subscription. So we cut it. It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
A lot of people would say that you're simply taking a page out of the Donald Trump book.
Which people would say that?
Well, I'm sure a great many Canadians, but...
Like who?
I don't know who, but...
Well, you're the one who asked the question, so
yeah.
You must know somebody. Yeah, that's all that's coming off. There's nothing else coming off, yeah. I'm not Justin Trudeau here. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go.
Knockout!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Fringe. We used the wrong intro, I guess. I used the Friday night intro instead of the random stream intro. I apologize. Things are hectic and I'm a little on edge, so that's why tonight is a little bit different. We're going to do a hangout stream, a chill and chat. We're going to talk a little bit about what's happening in the country right now because, boy, is it crazy. No matter how much people want to ignore or say that it's a nothing burger as to what's going on for content creators across YouTube, across Canadian culture, as well as in the United States, things are about to get really rocky, really bumpy. In fact, a lot of these channels, including this one, could disappear as a result. Going to get into all of that. If you haven't watched the video that posted earlier today, I would really encourage you to go and do that at some point. Make sure to leave a thumbs up. If you're here in the live stream, leave a thumbs up, help it get out there in the YouTube algorithm so that other people can get here for the news we're going to talk about tonight and why it is so important we talk about the subject at hand right now, which is Justin Trudeau essentially obliterating free speech in Canada and continuing to obliterate free speech in Canada. Let's do a roll call. We usually don't do roll calls on fun chill and chat streams, but let's do a roll call. Let me know where you're watching from. Let's try and get one person from every province in the country. I'll try and get to everybody as soon as I can. The room is filling up. If it's your first time here, let me know in the chat. And let's get started with those LFGs in the chat. We've got Ingrid Stewart joining us once again. Ingrid and Charlie from Okotoks. Always great to see you guys in here. Lucas C jumping in. Hello, fellow Patriots. Don't forget, our membership tier has changed. It is now the Patriots Club. Anytime you become a member of this channel, you get a neat little upside down maple leaf to show Justin Trudeau and the other politicians who do watch this channel how much you have dismay against the Canadian government. Join the Patriots Club today. It also gets your name in a draw for a monthly draw for one of our limited embroidered hoodies, which again, you cannot get anywhere else. So by supporting the channel, you also have a chance at winning one of those. Let's go Patriots Club with those LFGs. We've got Carol coming in from Nagauk, New Brunswick. Nagauk, New Brunswick. I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. We've got Aaron coming in from Red Deer. Welcome into the stream. It's great to have you here. We've got Debbie from Greater Sudbury. Welcome into the stream. Diana coming in from Turner Valley. John Doe from Muskoka Lakes, Ontario. Great to have you here. Jim Beasley, sorry, coming in from Burlington. Welcome into the stream. Great to have you here. Let me see here. I've got Y coming in from Methbridge, Alberta. Welcome into the stream. We got Nick coming in from Nova Scotia. Great to have you here. Danielle coming in from Newfoundland in the house as always. Welcome in. Great to have all damn Newfoundlanders here, isn't it? We got Luca Burnaby, BC in the house. We got Mason coming in from London, Ontario. Shirley from Lindsay, Ontario. It's not that bad. As soon as Justin leaves, it'll get better. I promise. Diana coming in Turner Valley. Great town. Love it. Freedom 1979 from Central Alberta. We got Scrazy coming in with the LFG. Welcome into the stream. Eddie coming in from Saskatchewan. Welcome in. We got Rod Williamson, who says Dan W, Mission BC. Great to have you in here. Whichever one of you it is, it's great to have you here. Welcome in to the stream. A-Bomb from Nova Scotia. Volume up, please, Westlock. The volume's up pretty high. I don't know how much higher we can get it than this, but let's continue on. Anna Monacree, again, I hope I'm pronouncing that properly. Simcoe Country, Ontario. Ken Wasik from Bobcagian, Ontario. I hope I'm pronouncing these right, folks. I apologize if I'm not. Blackface Son of Castro joining us once again from Windsor, Nova Scotia. Great to have you in on the chat. Scrolling through here, trying to get to everybody. Frank Peters, truck yeah, from London, Ontario. If you're missing that, that was one of the common sayings in the live streams during the Freedom Convoy. We've got Jika Ninja, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, from Calgary. Welcome in. We got Cheryl coming in from Calgary as well. Raymond from Peterborough, Ontario. Great to have you here. Mad Max from Northern BC. Hannibal Lecter coming in from Northwestern Ontario. Great to have you here. The future dump site of the world's nuclear waste. There you go. Who else do we have here? We got Jake coming in from Maynooth, Ontario in the house. Welcome in. Great to have you here. Tessie Boo coming in from Ottawa Valley. Great to have you here. What do we got? You got everybody talking about Meth Bridge. Jack Frost coming in from Forceburg, Alberta. Great to have you here. Sportman Music coming in from Baltimore, Maryland, USA. Thank you for joining us here again on the channel. Always great to have our American brethren in here with us as well. We got Lori coming in from Ontario, Canada. Prime Minister Kaylin of Canada from Lethbridge, Alberta. Pierre Poilievre and us Canadians. Let's bring it home, Canada. Couldn't agree more. We got Lucas C saying it's a cesspool. Rocco99 coming in from Edmonton in the house. Mike TV Dub joining us once again from Winnipeg. Great to have you in here. Back from car cruises, and Derek is starting a live stream. Absolutely. You know, we used to do the car cruises in Winnipeg. I think it was called Cruising the Dub when I was in Winnipeg. And boy, it was always a fun time looking at all the classic cars driving around town in Winnipeg when I lived there. Ingrid Stewart saying, got some sad news. My aunt passed away yesterday from cancer. Ingrid, I'm very sorry to hear that. Shout out to you, and I'm sorry for your loss. I hope everything's okay. That's terrible. We've got Alvin coming in from Folliette, Ontario. Eric jumping in saying, I love your show. I love that you love my show. Thank you so much for coming in. We've got DW Canadian from NYC in the house. Welcome in as well. And James from Nova Scotia. Lori reminding everybody, hit the like button, hit that like button. Let's get people in here. YouTube is absolutely trampling this channel these days. It would be great to get more folks in here for the news we have to talk about tonight. Let's go, Brando, best channel on YouTube. Thank you so much. I do appreciate the kind words. Let me see if I can get caught up in the chat. I know we've got people in here from, we had a Kelowna. We've got Jason from Kelowna. We've got Carrie south of Vulcan coming in as well. Mad Max, Tenant Media is under attack. Is this true, or is it an attack by the left? We're going to get into that tonight. That's mostly what we have to get into tonight. Let's get caught up with the stream. I want to make a quick announcement because I noticed in the chat from Friday, usuals like Colin P and others who have usually been in the stream that are members of this channel saying that they're apparently banned, that they can't talk within the channel. Folks, if you've ever experienced that, make sure to leave a comment in the chat below. I have reached out to Colin to let him know that, again, Colin, if you're watching this, there have been no bans instituted by this channel. I usually try not to censor people as much as I can. Anytime somebody slips, again, we always give a friendly reminder. So I can assure you there was no ban done on this end. I don't know if you need to get a different account with YouTube or if it's a YouTube thing. But my apologies to anybody who's having issues in the chat or anybody who's having issues, especially when they support the channel and become a member of the Patriots Club. We certainly don't want anybody to feel like we're silencing them or kicking them out. Again, there's been some weird things going on in the YouTubes, and weirder things are on the way. They're going to be coming. It's going to be insane. Night of Falima saying careful comments on a video can be shadow banned. Yes, they can. Hannibal Lecture. I love the R word. I use it every day. I use it loudly in public. I do too. Again, I grew up in the 80s and 90s when it was common to use those words. And people always, you can't say that. And I just say it more because of that. However, the big problem again is when you're on this platform, they have their rules. And it's unfortunate that that they do those things. Let's get into what's going on tonight, because if you watched my video earlier, and again, if you haven't, go and check it out. Lifting the Veil saying my comments hardly ever go through on YouTube. I understand that. Marilyn saying X and Rumble. So I've had an issue with Rumble. We're still trying to work with their tech support on the issue with my channel. I don't want to restart a channel on there. We're having issues posting to there. Again, I'm working on it. The problem is, and we've talked about this before, that people always say, oh, you should move to Rumble, you should move to here. We are multicasting on X at the moment, as well as other platforms. However, the biggest issue when it comes to Rumble, when it comes to X, they need to be able to compete with a company like YouTube. The main install base is on YouTube. If you want to get the news out there, if you want to get your voice out there, unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it. This is the way it goes. Part of switch over to Twitch. Twitch is worse than YouTube. God, if you think YouTube's bad, God, you don't want to be on Twitch. I streamed on Twitch for 4 years before I got into YouTube, and I can tell you right now, Twitch, unless you're in a bikini and in a hot tub, Twitch is not the place to be if you want to grow. It's insanity. Let's get into what's going on. If you watched the earlier video I posted, Canadian free speech is under attack, and we're going to see it get significantly worse in this country. If you guys remember back when Donald Trump was president, when he was actually verified to be president of the United States, the whole Russia that came from Hillary Clinton that we saw through the FBI that again fell apart. Donald Trump opened up his books. He allowed an investigation, and of course, no collusion was found. None that we know of again. There were no charges brought forth against Donald Trump, but his entire almost 4-year presidency was surrounded by the claim that he was installed by Russians, that he was paid by the Russians, that the Russians interfered in the United States election. And just as we're on the eve of another US election, one that also involves Donald Trump, we're also seeing now claims that certain groups, including Tenant Media, are now involved with taking funds from special interest groups linked to Russia, like RT, that essentially the government now in Canada is using as an opportunity to silence channels like this, channels like Moose on the Loose, channels like Mr. Sunshine Baby, The Pleb. We're all going to get the axe. You're talking about axe the tax, they want to axe the facts. And that's exactly what's going to happen on this platform. I got news for you, Justin Trudeau. I'm not going to allow you to take advantage of me any longer. You're not going to silence me. And you're not going to silence any other YouTube creators. There are other platforms. There are other ways that we can get out there. If you want to take these accounts away, it's going to get nasty. It's going to get nasty. And I mean that from a legal standpoint, because they're now threatening jail time on people that essentially spread misinformation. Well, what is misinformation other than hearsay? unless they can back it up with facts, I dare Justin Trudeau to send his goon squad to my door to put me in handcuffs, put me in a jail cell for showing people the truth, for speaking news, for reading articles, because that's essentially what I do on this channel. I would love it if he threw me in jail, because all I would be looking forward to is the massive, massive lawsuit that I would bring to the government's doorstep afterwards. I don't think I'd have to worry about working ever again. I wouldn't be getting money from the Russians. I'd be getting it straight from Justin Trudeau, and I would make sure it came from his bank account, not the Canadian taxpayers. So what we're seeing happen right now is that over the weekend with Tenant Media, they're saying that apparently Lauren Chen and Lauren Southern are linked to receiving money from RT, which was essentially telling them what kind of content to make. You'll notice that any articles that go forward, and again, I've got a video really detailing it tomorrow. It's about a 25-minute video. I don't want to get into too much of that tonight because I'll just be repeating myself for anybody who's watching videos tomorrow on the channel. Again, anytime you're watching those videos, when you're watching these streams, this is where it matters. I'm not trying to clickbait here. I'm not trying to get likes for reasons. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now's the time to do that. Many viewers are telling me that they're being unsubscribed at random from the channel, that their notifications are being turned off, that they're not being alerted when new content drops. That's all part of shadow banning practices. Justin Trudeau, for a fact, I know, looks at this channel, looks at Mr. Sunshine Baby, looks at Northern Perspective. I know he looks at the pleb, because anytime I talk to my contacts within the House of Commons, they're aware of those channels. We've seen Jasper Sunshine showing that Jagmeet Singh and the NDP watch his channel. All of our channels are at risk here. They're all at risk. And what floors them more than anything is for them to see us picking up steam. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the likes, get people in here on the stream, letting them know that they should be watching these things. On any of the channels that you follow, any political channels you follow, not just this one, give them the thumbs up on their videos, give them the comments, get their content out there. That's how YouTube works, is it's not just your subscriber base. So like if you have 40,000, 50,000, 100,000 subscribers, when you drop a video on YouTube, YouTube doesn't say, oh, they're a popular channel, we'll push it out. What actually happens is they wait to see if their initial audience picks up on it. And as soon as the likes and the comments start coming in, their algorithm, their AI algorithm says it's time to push this video a little bit further out there for more people to see. So anytime you're leaving a thumbs up, anytime you're leaving a comment on a video, it's very beneficial to any channel that you follow, not just this one. But at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, it's detrimental. There's a huge, huge smear campaign going on the internet right now through Twitter. I've seen it all weekend long. It's part of the reason I brought out my video that I did today. Let's take a look at what this is that we're looking at right now. This tweet coming up from MP Ryan Turnbull. Russian propaganda. Canadians are regularly consuming content from these sources, and that's something we can't ignore. Is it bad for our democracy when a significant slice of our population is being deliberately misled and even radicalized? You would think that he's talking about the CBC, and you would think that he's talking about Justin Trudeau's paid media. But he's talking about channels like this. He's talking about channels like the pleb. This is a conflict of interest. Because essentially what the Canadian government is saying here is that if you don't believe what we say, you're the enemy. If you don't take the words of Captain Tampon as value, you're the enemy. You're a Russian. You're taking Russian money. You're spreading misinformation and propaganda. This isn't the only MP who's doing this, by the way. Of course, good friend of the channel, Eva Chipiuk. Do you think it's your job to divide Canadians? Of course, retweeting her statement earlier, every day it's clear that many MPs and journalists forget that their jobs are to serve the public, not push personal views or agendas. MPs are elected to represent all their constituents, not just advocate for a single cause or ideology as social justice warriors. Couldn't be said better. Here it is. Ryan, this is a curious tweet. Your government receives active assistance from the PRC in a significant attack on our democratic institutions, and your government response is to obstruct opposition party initiatives to investigate and stop the same. I mean, this is the big problem when we look at what's happening in the world. We have 11 known MPs in the House of Commons that have been verified, not just hearsay, they've been verified through CSIS documents to be colluding and in bed with the Chinese Communist Party, taking money from China, foreign interference, verified foreign interference. No list of names is coming out. But Lauren Southern and Lauren Chen organize some conventions and all of a sudden delete their channels, delete their ability to speak on a platform, silence them. This is where we've got a huge problem in politics. Keep in mind, and I'm going to get into how this is going to affect Pierre Poilievre moving forward. Let's get into Lauren Southern. Now, one thing that I didn't do for tomorrow's video, because this statement came out after the filming of tomorrow's video, is Lauren Southern's actually made a statement based on what's going on with Tenant Media. So let's take a look at what she says. I hope you can all appreciate why I've taken time to make a statement. What has happened with the Department of Justice in the United States indictments and Tenant Media is obviously a serious matter. I'm treating it as such. A few short facts. I am not accused of any crimes, and the allegations I've read about in the indictment were unknown to me. I believe I've done nothing wrong. I always put significant efforts into making original and thoughtful videos. My contract gave me full editorial control of all of my content. As for the speculation about my compensation mirroring other public numbers, this is simply not true. I also understand that CNN reported Lauren Southern is actually the stage name of Lauren Chen. Good old CNN and their fake news. This is incorrect as well. We are two separate people. The one thing I will say that generally applies no matter the situation or your politics is that I would highly recommend patience with conclusions until more information is available. I appreciate all those who are approaching the story with temperance. I will not be commenting further on this matter at this point in time. Very, very well stated by Lauren Southern. You don't want to air your dirty laundry on the internet because it's the internet. It's always going to be, you can take people's texts, you can take people's tweets, you can misrepresent them and take them out of context to get your way with any kind of presentation when you're going to go for legal absolution with somebody. So I totally understand what's going to go on now, or what's going on. Again, this isn't about Russia. What Justin Trudeau is going to do with this, and has already started doing with this, is pushing what has happened with Tenant Media to essentially silence and ban free speech in Canada. He's shutting down our ability to bring you the news. He's already done this when it comes to Google searches by saying that only government verified institutions, only the government's heel that broadcasts at his whim can have search results on social media platforms. I'll say it again. If Pierre and Donald Trump don't get elected, we're in trouble. Yes. Just now, he's going to put in the Online Harms Act. It's more than the Online Harms Act. This isn't just the Online Harms Act. This is major. It's going to, if you think this isn't going to silence alternative outlets, like Kamala Harris is talking about making X illegal in the United States if she wins the next election. She's going to ban X in the United States. So she's taking away people's ability to communicate, people's free speech. It's, you either agree with me or you're wrong. If that isn't the behavior of a dictator, I don't know what is. If we haven't seen the behavior of a dictator from Justin Trudeau, I guess I am completely oblivious to what a dictatorship is or looks like. One thing I want to bring up here is where this is concerning to people like Pierre Poilievre, why this is going to be a massive problem even moving forward for him, and could result in legal problems for Pierre Poilievre. Forgive me for 1 second, because I should have had this pulled up earlier. I wanted to make sure I got this stream going as soon as possible. So I actually, I didn't pull everything up. I got the thumbnail done, and I literally started this broadcast That's why they're targeting Telegram or Telegraph. No, you shouldn't trust any politician, and I've spoken about that in other live streams. Again, I hope no one is banned out of the stream. Again, I know I have members telling me that they can't even post in the chat. Nobody has been banned on this channel, including people like Colin P. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in streams recently, because he's usually very vocal in our streams. And he's telling me he can't comment in live stream. He's a member. He's a channel member. He's part of the Patriots Club. I want to show you what has happened over the weekend with Justin Trudeau. Canada.ca. This is a government website. Dominic LeBlanc coming out and saying people are going to be prosecuted. This is where it's hard for even people like Pierre Poilievre. This is going to be weaponized against Pierre Poilievre. He's going to be in the same seat as Donald Trump in the United States. Look at this statement. Again, I apologize. I've only got this on my second monitor, so I'm looking to the side while I read this. Statement by the Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Affairs on U.S. action regarding Russian influence operations. Again, this is Government of Canada website. Today, the Honorable Dominic LeBlanc, Minister of Public Safety, Democratic Institutions, and Intergovernmental Affairs, issued the following statement. I commend the United States for its recent decisive actions against individuals allegedly involved in Russian influence operations aimed at undermining democratic processes. I also condemn in the strongest terms the attempts by Russian state-owned media entity RT to spread disinformation, influence election outcomes, and undermine democracy and rules-based international order, and engage in information operations and cyber incidents against Western targets. Isn't he talking about what just took place amongst 12 Liberal MPs in the House of Commons? That's the pot and the frickin' kettle. What a hypocrite. 12 MPs in the House of Commons that have colluded and are involved in compromising our elections with the Chinese government. And we're not allowed to know their names. But he's going to come out here and say that these people are spreading misinformation. And he commends the United States for everything they've done. This guy should face treason charges. Because I guarantee you, Dominic LeBlanc is more than likely one of those 11 MPs we still don't know about. Canada has been working in close cooperation with the United States and other allies on this serious matter, again, 1 month before their elections. While we're unable to comment on ongoing investigations, we're united in confronting Russia's aggression and subversion against democratic societies, and we will not hesitate to take any actions necessary to hold Russian threat actors to account, Here's where it gets messy. Any Canadians who illegally assist in Russia's persistent attempts to use disinformation, criminal and covert activities, and the corruption to undermine our sovereignty and democratic processes will face the full force of Canadian law. So we talk about YouTube channels getting shut down. Because this is the government, once again, just like during the COOF, listen to the experts. These are our experts. By the way, we pay them to be our experts. We decide what is disinformation. We decide if you've received money from Russians. We decide who is going to be prosecuted. So when you look at YouTube channels, you look at this channel, you look at Moose on the Loose, you look at Sunshine, you look at the Pleb, look at Clinton Jaws, look at any of them. They at any point in time now can turn around and say, shut down that channel, take them away. Don't believe me? They've already done it to Lauren Chen. They've already stripped her of her channels on YouTube and said that she's violated terms of service. She hasn't violated anything. They don't have anything to support that I'm aware of. I've seen no documents online, just their claims that it's Russian propaganda. Again, that's for them to decide with Lauren Chen and her husband or Lauren Southern, not the rest of Canada, not YouTubers who just make their living putting out the truth on YouTube. But keep in mind, do you know who else has a YouTube channel? Do you know who else has a YouTube channel? Pierre Poilievre, Michelle Ferreri, Melissa Lantsman. Just about every conservative MP has a YouTube channel. What do you think is going to happen to them if they say something that the government believes they have to do with misinformation and Russia, Russia, Russia? Does everybody remember that right now, people are flaming over Pierre Poilievre doing a video promoting Canada's ability to move ahead when he's prime minister, and some Russian jets flew by in the background while he was doing the video, and everybody's now saying he's in bed with Russia because he's taken photos with Lauren Chen and followed Lauren Chen on social media, that he is now in bed with the Russians. What do you think Dominic LeBlanc's statement means for Pierre Poilievre? This is dirty pool. This is the government pulling out every stop to ensure that Canada turns into a dictatorship. That they control what you consume, what you hear, who says it, how much they say it, and what opinions they want you spouting online. Didn't Putin endorse Kamala? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I had a channel that only once in a while called out liberals, BS, and it got spoofed. There you go. This is where I've said that if you guys haven't subbed to the channel yet, if you haven't subscribed to other channels that you follow that do politics, this is the time to show your support. This is the time to get behind them and grow their numbers. It's time to show YouTube we're not part of that group of people that are going to sit back and say nothing or do nothing. I'm not just talking about this channel. Every channel you follow. I've got certain channels on YouTube that I follow that they show up in my feed every day because I watch them frequently, but I'm not subscribed. I've changed all of that as of today. Every single channel that you follow that you care about on this platform, if they're Canadian made, you should be subscribed to at this point. Because Justin Trudeau is now going to go through them all with a fine-tooth comb and weed them out and say, you're in bed with the Russians because you don't have the same ideologies as the Liberal Party of Canada. Ms. Hellraiser saying this is absolutely terrifying. I hope Canada and the United States vote in Trump and Pierre. It's in our hands to change the narrative. It is, but it's not. Megan, I appreciate it. If I get arrested, I'm going to be the happiest guy on the planet because I'm going to sue the hell out of the government. They're free to go through my books at any time. You'll notice on this channel that anytime I announce a sponsor on this channel, those are things that I do at no charge. I've never once taken money from a sponsor. Do you know why? Because I like to keep my nose clean. The only people who pay me on social media is Google and Amazon. That's it. Those are the only two sources I get my money from. And if somebody says, well, you received super chats from somebody who's a Russian influencer, I can't control who puts super chats through on this channel. I don't ask for super chats. I don't put myself behind a paywall. Nobody's telling me what to do with my content. The government is free to go through my books at any time. In fact, they have after my first year in business when they audited me 30 minutes after I did my taxes. 30 minutes after we submitted my taxes, I was audited because of the name of my company and what I did to Justin Trudeau with my books. And I was good with it because I got nothing to hide. I'm an open book. So if the government comes and puts me in handcuffs, I'll arrest, or not arrest, I'll sue them. I'll sue them into oblivion. The government might also fabricate evidence. Well, they can do what they like. Where do we go if YouTube shuts down? Rumble, or is that next too? Well, Chevy, this is what I'm saying about people who say, well, just go to Rumble. That's not the solution. Kamala Harris has already said she's going to make X illegal if she becomes president. She's going to ban X in the United States. Justin Trudeau can come out now and say, oh, with all this disinformation going around, we want to make sure Canada's secure. So we're going to ban Rumble. We're going to ban X. We're going to ban all these different social medias. And unless these companies want to submit to the government for us to go through their members or their viewers and be able to decide who's a Russian bot and who's actually Canadian and real, putting in legitimate posts who agree only to Captain Tampon, well, then those companies won't be allowed to do business in Canada. There will be no alternative. That's what I'm trying to tell people when people are saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal. They blame Donald Trump for Russia. You don't understand with the Online Harms Act what this is like a golden ticket for Justin Trudeau. He was waiting for this. This is part of the plan. Now that they have Lauren Chen and Lauren Southern, it's full bore. Anybody who disagrees with Donald Trump, who's on the right, is paid by Russia. They've already labeled Tamara Leach, Chris Barber, Marty up north. We're on a very dangerous line here. They want a one world government where one world currency, one world religion are all one world news. That's the problem. Pierre's full on WEF? Come on. Show me 1 ounce of proof of that. People say that all the time. Show me a document or a photo of him in Davos. Give me anything that shows that. I'll agree with you. Until then, that's such a load of crap. I don't like insulting my viewers, but come on. Come on. He's already said he's going to condemn anybody in his party who's from the WEF. He's not going to allow them in the Conservative Party. Like, hang on, I'm trying to get caught up in the chat. Just Master Snatch chiming in. They'll attempt to connect Tim Pool directly with Trump because Tim did an interview with Trump. If Tim is taking his money from Russia, then Trump must be financially benefited too. That's the narrative. But that's what I'm saying. So when you look at Lauren Chen and Lauren Southern, let's bring up guys, I know I'm kind of going all over the map here when it comes to not being prepared for what we're talking about. When you look at Lauren Chen and Lauren Southern and what's happening with them, look at this tweet. We talked about this on Friday's stream. Here's a chat from Allison Creekside, or a tweet. A convoy connection to Tenant Media founder Lauren Chen, who the Department of Justice election took a shit ton of funds from pro-Moscow sources. Chen hosted the We Unify Reclaiming Canada conference in June in Victoria this year, along with her buddy Lauren Southern. You can see down here, Lauren Chen putting out that I'll be hosting the We Unify Reclaiming Canada conference this June in Victoria, BC. I'll also be performing stand-up comedy and taking part in a lively conversation with Lauren Southern on women in politics. Speakers include Dr. Drew and Dr. Peter McCullough, and more. Of course, you see Tamara Leach down here, Lauren Southern, Drea Humphrey from Rebel News. You see John Carpay. You see some other faceless weasel from YouTube. I mean, Marty up north was invited to this. Marty put out a statement today. Let's take a look at that. Sorry again for the sloppy scrolling through things here. I'm trying to... He had it out saying that he hasn't taken money, that he was invited. He talked about the money that was received. So I just want to get to that. God, Marty has a lot of tweets. Hang on. It's on here somewhere because I talked about it today. Here we go. I was invited to the We Unify conference because I appear as a weekly guest on Clyde Nobody's podcast. Clyde was invited to the conference because he's a local independent news commentator with a large following. Clyde's full-time job is repairing cars. I'm a semi-retired petroleum engineer who still does odd jobs here and there. The internet is an amazing place that brought us together. The We Unify conference was held in 2 days in Victoria. It was attended by about 500 people who paid $500 to attend. So the conference grossed around $250,000. First off, I want to get on point here with that money statement. 500 people may have attended, but they all didn't pay $500. There were different tiers. If you only wanted to go for one day or one show or whatever, it was like 60 something dollars to get in. There were different tiers you could buy tickets for. So not everybody paid $500 to attend. So whether or not they grossed $250,000, I do not know. But here's what he puts here. The venue, the meals, and security costs were in excess of $200,000. The event relied on volunteers and a few local sponsors. The organizers actually did an amazing job. My costs to attend were about $1,700, and the organizer was kind enough to subsidize me for $1,000. I went for the opportunity to share my story, meet like-minded individuals. I spent every minute just talking to people. In fact, if you were there, repost this and say hello. Lauren Chen did not attend the event. Again, that's sketchy, considering she said she was doing stand-up comedy. Even though she thought she would, or even though she was on the billing, she wasn't there. This whole idea that a handful of independent Canadian content creators are somehow all financed by the Russians is hilarious. In Canada, the mainstream media is financed by Trudeau to the tune of $600 million a year. If I'm getting bags of money, can somebody please tell me where they're being dropped off? Thanks. And of course, this is the same thing I've said time and time again. People ask me because Danielle Smith's coming on the channel this Friday for an interview that I'm supposedly on her pay scale. I keep saying, look, I'm going to tell you flat out, I'm on nobody's pay scale. I'm certainly not on Danielle Smith's. And if there was, there would be signs. You guys would know if I was under somebody's pay or somebody's take. Maybe it's Rebel News funded. It could be. I mean, Rebel News has a very large presence at that event. I don't know the ins and outs. I didn't go to that event. Again, I've been asked to go to some of these conferences. And anytime I'm invited to one of these conferences, excuse me, I need a drink. It's really hot under these lights right now, and it's hot in Calgary, so I'm trying to balance out here with the rage, guys. There was an event back in 2023 in February that I was invited to in Winnipeg. It was called like the Freedom Convoy 2.0 or something. I forget what it was called entirely, but when I was invited to that event, really somebody from the organizing event just calls you or emails you and says, hey, we're doing this event. Would you like to attend? We'd like to have you there maybe to speak, sell some books, mix with people that are like-minded. And of course, you decide whether you want to go or not. Now, I was offered no money to attend those events. Unfortunately, after speaking with some people who were attached to that event or knew about that event, I decided it wasn't for me, that it was a lot of radicals that were going to be there that were outside of the typical right-leaning structure. They were supporting things like UNDRIP. So I said, nope, that's not for me. I'm not going to be there. So it's usually up to the people that are going to do their research and figure out who runs these events and who's paying them, if they're being paid to go. I can assure you, as somebody who is friends with Tamara Leach, Chris Barber, Marty Up North, any of these guys, none of them are on the pay from the Russians. If they are, they're very good at hiding it. Very good. People say it all the time. Oh, Tamara's got all this money. No, she doesn't. No, she doesn't. Master snatched $10 million to a nobody with no management skills is highly suspicious. I smell federal happy ops just in time for the upcoming elections. Yeah. But until they put something in writing, until they have physical proof, I've always said, if Lauren Southern and Lauren Chen are taking money from people they shouldn't be taking money from, then blame them. That's fine. Indict them. Do whatever you want. But again, the articles that I'm reading are saying they weren't even mentioned in the indictments against Tenant Media. They're just drawing straws here and saying, oh, well, they're linked to them, so that must mean they're taking that money too. Keep in mind, we read Lauren Southern's statement at the beginning of the stream where she says, I wasn't even aware I was mentioned in this indictment. And I don't even know what's going on. Fear-mongering is all this is trying to sway optics. It won't work. Well, the problem with the optics is that it's not a matter of whether it's going to work on the public. Voices are going to be silenced for this. You don't think the Trudeau government's going to shut down YouTube, that he's not going to shut down free speech, that this isn't his golden ticket to go in and say, see, I told you so. We got to shut these radicals down. At this stage in the investigation, they're getting YouTubers to come in and incriminate themselves so they can suck them into the justice system. Well, you've even seen that with guys like Dave Rubin, who've come out saying, hey, I wasn't aware. I wasn't aware where I was getting my money from. Bullshit. You're telling me a guy like Dave Rubin, who's worth as much as he is, who has 2 million subscribers on YouTube, doesn't have a team of people who do research on who they're involved with, who they're doing shows for? Like, if you want to incriminate certain outfits, certain people, fine. But just because one person does something doesn't mean that everyone is. You can't go and defame people like Tamara Leach, Drea Humphrey, Marty Up North, Chris Barber, and draw them into a cesspool of shit just because you need an excuse to silence Canadians. You have to have evidence. Mad Max saying Dave Rubin would not get into that. No, he wouldn't. But then again, Dave Rubin should be asking his people, did you not do your research? Did you not look into who these companies are? And if they have the paperwork, again, this is where I say, I know I'm not in any trouble. If the government wants to go through my books, I don't take money from anybody except YouTube and Amazon. So unless YouTube and Amazon are taking money from the Russians, I'm squeaky clean. But for a guy like Dave Rubin, he should have a paper trail as well through his people, because I know he's got handlers. I know he's got a whole team. David Rubin's team should be asked, did you look into this? What do you have? And if they say, look, we looked into this and there's nothing here that states Russian influence, then they're in the clear. We're not aware of what's going on. This is you drawing straws to make us look bad. And at that point, if I was David Rubin, I'd be suing the U.S. Department of Justice for defamation. Wrongful prosecution. Notice that there's no charges going out. There's no charges that have come forward. Guys like Tim Pool have said, I'm going to help out and assist in any way I can. Of course, because Tim Pool has his open books as well. He says, go through my stuff. I've got a team who make these decisions. But nobody's been put in handcuffs yet. Nobody's been charged because they don't have anything. The problem isn't the evidence. The problem is that they're going to use the fear-mongering to get what they want, to silence people. Kamala Harris wants to get rid of X in the United States because they hate Elon Musk. They want to arrest Donald Trump. Kamala Harris made a statement that said when the election is over and they take the White House, they won't leave any stone unturned. They'll find out everybody who supported Donald Trump, and there will be repercussions. Boy, that sounds like a great president, doesn't it? I should have saved the tweet when I saw it today, but somebody posted the quote and said there's no community notes on this. She said it early September. When you look at what's happening with Justin Trudeau pushing through the Online Harms Act, he always says, well, it's to make parents feel safe about their kids being online. No, it's not. It's because you don't like what people say about you and you don't want to go home and suck your thumb every night. So you're going to silence everybody so you can go home and play with your diddle and feel good about yourself. This government is a disgrace. How are we at this point in the world How are we at this point in our lives where it's got this bad? I never in a million years thought that we would be sitting here talking about being locked in our homes, having our freedoms stripped away from us, people going to court and jail for protesting the government, people having their bank accounts frozen, people being silenced and shadow banned on platforms without violating terms of use. But just because they have an opinion, I'll tell you, as somebody who's even on the platform, as somebody who makes their living on YouTube, I hope a day of reckoning comes for YouTube. I hope a day comes where a better platform comes out, where a better platform emerges that can support the creators that want to go there, that don't harbinge free speech, that don't put a foot over top of it, that don't blame everybody who has an opinion within reason, where YouTube scrambles and says, we don't know what we're going to do now because we're losing our value, we're losing our stock, we're losing viewers, we're losing our platform, and everybody can waggle their finger at them and say, we told you so. Mark Zuckerberg's doing it right now with Facebook. Do you know Facebook's on its way right now to becoming the new MySpace? People are fleeing because they spent years silencing and banning people for nothing. Now you've got Mark Zuckerberg on Joe Rogan pleading with people saying, oh, you know what? We did take some money during the last US election, but we feel bad about that. We don't want to silence free speech. Too late, Zuck. You're done. Switch to Rumble. Again, it doesn't matter. They're going to make Rumble illegal. It doesn't matter. Rumble can't support the way that YouTube does. I'm sorry. That's a fact. That's not me being mean against Rumble. They'll just make it illegal. If everybody on YouTube, if myself, Viva, I know Viva's already on Rumble, but you get myself, you get Viva, you get not Marty, but you get Moose on the Loose, you get Jasper Sunshine, the Pleb, everybody who covers right-wing Canadian politics going over to Rumble and getting their word out, not being censored, not being shut down. Trudeau would just say, silence them, get them out of there, make it illegal. It's because we're being complacent and believing this nice and polite Canadian myth and being bleeding hearts, keeping letting a bunch of psychopaths gaslighting us. We voted for them. You know what's funny? I was talking to somebody in my family about what's happening with this Dominic LeBlanc statement that people are going to be prosecuted for spreading disinformation. They don't even outline what disinformation is. You know what my family member said? Oh, maybe it's time to get off YouTube. Oh, and comply? No, maybe it's time you get your torches and your pitchforks and you start saying, I want somebody's head on a swivel. Theoretically, not physically. But you get what I mean. Somebody's got to answer to this. This is when Canadians should get mad. I'm telling you right now, in the next 6 months, you're going to start getting door knockers from every party in the country, including the Conservatives. And when they come to your door, you should be asking them, what the hell makes you think I'm going to vote for any of you? You've destroyed this country. You've single-handedly destroyed this country. Pierre Poilievre was removed from the House of Commons for calling Justin Trudeau a wacko. If Pierre Poilievre really wanted to make a statement, he should have told the entire Conservative Party, walk out of Parliament right now. Don't come back until they're ready to treat us with some respect. They need to join the ranks of the war that we're fighting here amongst creators, amongst the public, amongst those that are fed up. And it's so funny because when I ran into Pierre during the Calgary Stampede and I approach his team and say, let's do an interview, let's get something going on the channel. We talk all the time. You guys know that I'm not going to sandbag Pierre, get him on the channel. They tell me, we like you guys. We like the Pleb. We watch Sunshine during House of Canada. You guys are all great. We love the message that you're pushing for us, but we need to keep our distance from you and other YouTubers because it just doesn't make Pierre look good. Are you freaking kidding me? Guys like the pleb who are getting 150,000 views every time they post a video about Pierre are making him look bad. We're towing the line for you guys. You should be banding with us to say enough is enough is enough. You should be standing up for us, saying Trudeau is ready to remove them from their ability to speak and bring you news. They're suppressing news in our country. Keeping their distance from us. They're going to use that now because Pierre Poilievre has been labeled as a Russian because he took a picture with Lauren Chen and followed her on Twitter. They've already pointed that out. Oh, Pierre's been silent all weekend because he doesn't care. He's going to issue a statement where he says this is all ridiculous. But that's not going to stop the government from silencing the rest of us. We are the ones who suffer. Pierre still gets his pension. Pierre still gets his paycheck every 2 weeks. What happens to the rest of us? What happens to the rest of us that make our living online? Will we lose our jobs? Because one person wanted to say Russia? Yeah, Pierre shook the pleb's hand at a rally, but he won't go on the pleb's channel. He won't come on my channel. I talk with his assistant constantly. Constantly. Pierre has all of my books, and I've had to give them to him behind closed doors. Because while we love them, but it'd be a real shame if people knew that, if people saw Pierre with them in his hands. Right? We have to keep our distance from you, the pleb, Jasper, but we'll do interviews with Andrew Lawton and True North because they're an accredited outlet. We'll bring David Menzies in for press conferences because they're Rebel News. Independent YouTubers, though, who toe the line for the conservatives, who pump up their numbers. And don't think that we don't. I'm not trying to get a full head here. I'm not trying to toot my own asshole. But what I'm saying is that what we do, how much we push the conservative brand, how much we support. Christ, my last book release did nothing but prop up Pierre's whole campaign message. And I was told by his party, oh, we love it. We love the book. Thank you for that. But we can't acknowledge you in public. That makes me a little cautious about what they're going to do when they're in government. I thought you were for the people. Well, we are, but you don't want to acknowledge them. I mean, is that not worrisome to you guys? That they tell you that they're happy that you're doing all these great things for them? That you're propping up their slogans? And it wasn't just my channel. I'm not saying that this out of saltiness or being upset. I really don't care if Pierre comes on this channel or not. I'm talking about the concern that they name all of these channels that they watch and say, we have to keep our distance from you, but keep doing the great work. Keep pushing our name for us, please. We love all the work that you do. I've met with Pierre several times in private. But you can't come on a channel called Unacceptable Fringe because that'll just make you look bad. Pierre, I got news for you. You already look bad to the rest of Canada no matter what you're on. No matter what channel you go on. They're going to hate you. If you want voters, you should be banding together with every social media influencer right now. When they ask you about Lauren Chen, you should say, yes, I follow Lauren Chen. She does good reporting. I follow Lauren Southern because she does good reporting. I meet with Cat Canada and I've met with the Counter Signal because they do good reporting. These people do better reporting than the government-funded CBC. I support them. Don't keep your distance from us. This is your time to back us up. Because if you stay silent on this, all it tells me is you don't care about our voice either. You don't care about our future as independent journalists that you label us as. I look at myself as nothing more than a loudmouth on this platform. I'm not a journalist. I'm an entertainer. I'm a personality. I'm a 7-time best-selling author that you kicked dirt in my face and said, you got to keep your distance from me. Are you screwed in the head? I've made contributions to the Conservative Party of Canada. I just gave you free publicity through my work. But I'm not worth seeing in public? Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. Shame on you. Pierre will acknowledge the pleb because the pleb had a camera rolling when it happened. If the pleb didn't have his camera rolling, if he didn't have a live feed at the time, I guarantee you Pierre would have blown right past him. He might have said, hey, good to see you, and walked off, but there wouldn't have been anything like you saw on that video feed. It's all about optics. And that worries me, that his party sees all that support, all those channels that are pushing his brand, but they can't acknowledge them. They can't be associated with them. You know, I had great respect for Pierre when the trucker convoy was going on, and he stood outside the House of Parliament, or the House of Commons, sorry, and said, you know, I support anybody who's protesting as long as they're doing it lawfully, as long as they're doing it without violence. He stood on overpasses and brought coffee and food to truck drivers. He went and jumped in a van recently and chatted with people on the side of the road that had a Diagolon logo on the side of their van, which he's being labeled for now, and said, you know, we're going to axe the tax and spike the hike, and we're going to do all these things because he wants the optics. As soon as I'm told by his party managers, we need to keep our distance from you guys, oh, I'm sorry, I guess we're all just a bunch of scumbags, aren't we? We're just the dirty minions pulling the line, doing the back work, while you guys reap the benefits. They don't care about the truckers. They don't care about YouTubers. They don't care about the common Canadian. At least that's the impression they give me when they tell me we need to keep our distance from you. Pierre has my vote. Nobody's perfect. But I've been following him for years and he hasn't faltered. He's still got my vote. He still has my vote. I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for him. I'm saying that what Pierre isn't seeing, or at least what his team isn't seeing, because let me guarantee you, his team makes about 90% of his decisions. What they're not seeing is the opportunity. People were joyous when he supported the Freedom Convoy. Could you imagine tomorrow if Pierre Poilievre went into the House of Commons and said, I'm going to start inviting independent YouTubers or independent news outlets that want to register with us, we'll do a check on them, to come to our press conferences instead of government paid media. I'm going to start supporting them because they get out more facts than you guys do with your Trudeau paid subsidies. I'm going to back the people that Justin Trudeau is attempting to silence. Could you imagine the uproar? Could you imagine how good that would be for his optics if he was to openly embrace the independent community? And I've said it before on the channel. Go on the pleb. You don't have to come here. Go on the pleb. Go on Northern Perspective. Go on any channel that is not an accredited news outlet and show them that you give a damn about the prosecution they're now facing by being under Russian paid influence. Don't run and hide. Don't give slogans. Be a man of the people. Don't worry so much about your bloody image. You've got our vote. This is your chance to stand behind the people that are putting you in your job. There's an old saying, if they stand next to you, respect them. If they stand behind you, defend them. But if they stand against you, show no mercy. We're standing both next to and behind Pierre Poilievre. but he's not respecting us, and he's not defending us either. That's the problem. How much longer are we supposed to toe the line for him while we're silenced on our platforms? And not just silenced, and I don't like making this about money. I can guarantee you right now, I have lost thousands in revenue to shadow banning. Every single day when I post videos and I post something that, hey, this is a relevant topic, it's trending, let's get it out there. And there's so many people who come to me after in the live streams and say, I didn't even know those videos were out. I missed them entirely. I can't be recommended to them. I put a thumbs up and it doesn't register. Where's Pierre defending us on that stuff? Where's Pierre saying no more of that to our Canadian independent media? Why vote for Pierre? I want change. I don't want Trudeau in office. I don't want Jagmeet Singh in office. I certainly don't want the Bloc in charge. I want to pay lower costs. That's it. Who's a narcissist? Who's a narcissist? Are we talking about Trudeau? You're certainly not talking about me. I can guarantee you I am not. I am far from a narcissist. New World Order never thought it would happen, but yeah, this is where we are. This is where we are. Pierre Poilievre is a true Canadian leader for Canada. Justin Trudeau is a joke. I don't disagree. When I'm screaming here about Pierre, I'm not saying I'm not going to vote for him. I'm not saying that you shouldn't vote for him. Vote for whoever you want to vote for. You have your reasons. I've got mine for who I vote for. I would certainly never want to sit on any platform and try to make people feel that I'm influencing their vote or convincing them how to vote. Even if you were to vote Liberal, which I'd probably just say you're full of rocks, but it's your choice. It's your choice. What I'm saying is that Pierre Poilievre has the opportunity of a lifetime to come out and support those who have been slammed, not only by Justin Trudeau, but by the media he silences, by the companies that he pays to silence in Canada. Stop meeting with us in private and start saying, hey, I deal with these people. I talk to them. I like what they put out. I'm proud to support them. They're hardworking Canadians. If he falls to the wayside while Justin Trudeau puts in an online speech act that silences us on YouTube because Lauren Chen took money from Russians, what does that say for the future of Canada? What does that say for the rest of us that have put in the hard time, the work, the due diligence to make sure that the information we're sharing with you guys is accurate? So instead of worrying about, oh, my poor image, your image is fine. People hate Justin Trudeau. Who do you think they're going to vote for him again? You think they're going to vote for the NDP? You're safe. Your numbers would go through the roof with all of your skeptics. All the people who are on the fence about Pierre Poilievre would change if they saw the real Pierre. Not the image Pierre. The real one. The one who says, yeah, I listen to these guys. Yeah, we watch their stuff. Yes, we support people with free speech. He walked with James Topp on his way to Ottawa. And everybody said, he's just here because, he wants a couple extra votes. If he did that regularly, if he met with people like that regularly, do you think people would say that? Or do you think people would start to think, hey, maybe that guy's genuine? Maybe he actually cares. If Pierre Poilievre acknowledged the Freedom Convoy by name, the members who organized it by name, do you think it would damage his reputation to run for prime minister? I don't. But his wife will throw in truck drivers in her speeches because that scores some points. They're talking about workers at that point. They're not talking about people who protested on Parliament Hill. Come out and just be yourselves. Pierre Poilievre, if he made an announcement that he doesn't agree with Justin Trudeau taking Chris Barber and Tamara Leach to court for so long and dragging out a trumped-up mischief charge, I'm sure a lot of people who are skeptic of Pierre Poilievre would change their tune. This is why I've got such a problem with government. Because they're happy to see you when they need something. But as soon as you need something from them, crickets. We had a gentleman on the channel who I interviewed that was in a Highfield trailer park in Calgary, who was forced out of his home, and he said at one point, Naheed Nenshit and other members of the NDP had come to his trailer park to be concerned, and then as soon as the press went away, it was crickets from them. They didn't want to help anymore. They didn't want to do anything. It's because all they were worried about was their bloody image. Start being genuine. Go and talk to those people if you care. Go and talk to those people if you have a concern. I can tell you one thing, I don't have that problem with Danielle Smith. I go to her people and say, I'd like to have Danielle on the show, and they go, great, what do you want to talk about? I'd like to talk about these things. Good, we can give you this many minutes. We'll see you on this day at this time. No problem. Why can't we get that with our federal politicians? Danielle Smith doesn't have to distance herself from our channels. Jason becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Welcome into the Patriots Club. Great to have you in here. Thank you so much for your support. Poilievre needs to bring the YouTubers into the parliament. Oh my God, that would be so good for his optics. That's what I'm getting at. I'm not talking about just myself or just this channel. This is an opportunity for Pierre to say, because if you don't think they're going to attack him full force on this, that's exactly why they made this statement about prosecuting people. Pierre was seen taking a video with Russian planes in the background. He follows Lauren Chen on Twitter. Of course they're going to blame Pierre. He's going to be the new Donald Trump. Russia, Russia, Russia. This is where if he walked in with all these YouTubers and said, I guess we're all guilty. I guess this is all of us. We're all in collusion with Russia. Do you understand what that would do for his image? What that would do for him? His numbers would surge. Because he'd basically be saying to the Trudeau government, we don't care. If you're so sure we're doing this, prosecute us. If Pierre said, I stand with them, boy, that would say a lot. But anytime, but Pierre won't do that. That's what I was getting to. Anytime I go around his party, there is, hey, Derek, good to see you again. Is that a new book for us? Yep, here you go. Great. We can't have you handing that to Pierre personally because even though he likes them, looks bad for our optics. And we have to distance ourselves from you and the pleb and Jasper and everybody else. Aaron Marson becoming a new member of the Patriots Club. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Enjoy again. Guys, anytime you become a member of the channel, it doesn't just support the channel. You get a cool upside down maple leaf badge next to your name every time you chat. It also puts your name in the draw every month where we give away an embroidered Unacceptable Fringe hoodie. It's the only way to get them. We don't sell them in stores. Thank you so much to our new members tonight. Welcome to the Patriots Club. Pierre stood with the Canadians, and with us, Canada could change this disastrous course quick. People would be a lot more supportive of Pierre, especially when he gets into the House of Commons. And I'm not just talking about YouTubers. Any group that Pierre Poilievre stands against, or not Pierre, sorry, let me correct that. Any group that Justin Trudeau stands against. Malcolm Johnson, welcome to the Patriots Club. Thank you for becoming a member and supporting the channel. But anytime Justin Trudeau opposes a group of people, we saw it when Danielle Smith came out against gender-altering surgeries. Do you remember that? You remember Pierre saying to the reporter, "You believe in giving pills to minors?" You know why he said it like that? Because it incriminates them if they support it. It makes them look stupid. If he defended us like that, if he defended every group that Justin Trudeau went against like that, people would have a lot more faith in what he's bringing to the table. His party is a dinosaur group that is so worried about all these old school methods of, well, we just want to please certain groups of people. Do you know what that tells me? You're flipping fake. You're fake. You're lucky I like him and his image so much, because if it were anybody else, I'd change my vote. And I'd say you're all a bunch of phonies. All you worry about is getting in. So if that's all your concern is, what's going to happen once you're in? Keep up the fight. Love the pleb too. Pierre needs a majority to win and probably doesn't want to jeopardize it for any reason. But what? Okay, but it's politics. Remember, not to care about feelings or opinions, facts only. Dehab, yeah, I agree with all of that. However, how is distancing himself from online free speech gonna ruin his numbers? It's I'm not just talking about YouTube. Again, I go back to the trucker convoy. Look at the Freedom Convoy. He stood on overpasses. He took videos. Hey, look, we're out here giving coffee to these guys. They're great. Freedom all the way. Yay, freedom. Stood on Parliament Hill and said, I support anybody who lawfully protests the government. I got no problem with the trucks out here. And then as soon as they brought in the Emergencies Act, crickets. Because my image. Stand by your convictions. If you believe in something, stand behind it. Because I'd rather vote for somebody who's genuine than somebody who's just spitting up my ass and telling me it's raining. But that's just me. I want somebody genuine. Absolutely it was. Absolutely it was. They debate about it in question period. Do you know what question period is? It's like being on the playground at a schoolyard. It's not like anything gets passed there. Nothing happens at question period. It's just bickering. It's a show. It's a circus. Actions speak louder than words. There it is. Frank says it too at the same time. Talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. Yes. At least Danielle Smith doesn't distance herself from the people she works for. But that's the point. Stephanie Cousy did the same thing. I went to Stephanie Cousy and said, look, I'm in your riding. I live in your riding. You're my MP. I'd love for you to come on the show and talk about what's happening with the Rive scam. First thing she says, absolutely. Absolutely. Anytime I tweet out Stephanie Cousy, she replies. She's not worried about optics. She's worried about who she represents. And that is why Stephanie Cousy gets my vote. Anytime I've called her office, even before Unacceptable Fringe, I call her office. If she's not around because, she's in Ottawa, I leave a message. Somebody gets back to me, whether it's email, whether it's a phone call, somebody gets back to me and answers my question. It's not always Stephanie, but somebody gets back to me. That tells me they're doing their job. That tells me they're worthy of my vote. If every time I see Pierre, it's spike the tyke, or spike the hike, axe the tax, let's bring it home, and he doesn't want to talk about anything else, that's phony. Pierre, you've won us over. Drop the slogans. Action, my man. Give us some action. We're all in this ocean and Trudeau's got his foot on our heads and you've got a rope to pull him back and you don't want to do it for some reason. That's your choice. I'm just asking, Pierre, at some point, and I know you watch the channel. I know your people watch the channel. I know you're going to see this. At some point, we want you to just take Trudeau's foot off our heads. That's it. Stand behind the Canadians that are putting you in your job. Not that difficult. And boy, like, you're talking to a guy who has a degree in marketing, for Christ's sake. Pardon the blasphemy. There's one thing I know, it's how to market and brand. I'm telling you right now, you're on a gold mine here. And you're passing it by because a couple people in an office say it's bad for optics. Give me a break. Pierre, sorry to say, it needs some new material. The slogans are as stale as the week. It was good when it first came out. But every time I see a conference now, I saw it during the Stampede breakfast when we were all there. I was standing 5 feet away from Pierre, and every time people come back, they're talking to them about the things that are concerning them, and he goes, well, we're going to axe the tax. Well, we're going to bring it home. It was like listening to a robot. And I'm looking at him with my daughter and going, that's not Pierre. I know him. I've talked to him. That's not him. He's got people telling him what to say. He's got people telling him what to do. What changes when he's in office? You won us over, man. Stop. Stop. Action. This is the time for action. I love you, Pierre. I think you're great. Anytime we get to chat, I'm happy. But I'm trying to help you here, man. We're trying to help you. Slogans are old. I agree. There you go. I get the slogans in his reply to my emails. There you go. He's trying to win over the NPCs. He has a robot decoy. I'm going to keep going in circles the longer we continue this. I swore I was only going to go an hour and a bit tonight, guys. I'm going to start wrapping up the stream. Make sure to tune in to tomorrow's video. Again, leave a thumbs up, a comment. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Subscribe to every political channel you follow. Again, silencing could be coming. Keep an eye on those channels. If you are getting unsubscribed from channels, reach out to YouTube support at Team YouTube on Twitter as well. They do reply to tweets. Ask them, why are you unsubscribing me from channels? How do I fix this? This is a time for action, folks. If you want to support channels in the best way possible, become a member of a channel. Subscribe. It costs nothing. A thumbs up, a comment. All of those things help with videos every time they come out. When you leave a thumbs up or you leave a comment, it helps those people get their videos out past YouTube's AI suppression bots. It helps get their content out. Keep an eye out tomorrow. Again, have a video coming out talking in full descriptives as to why we're in this situation, what about has happened with Lauren Southern and Lauren Chen. And then again, more videos will continue throughout the week. Thank you to everybody who joined me on this unannounced surprise live stream tonight. I see you all. I appreciate you all. And again, stay safe, stay free, everybody. For all those who joined the Patriots Club tonight, welcome to the Patriots Club. You are true Canadian patriots. I can assure you, anytime Justin's cronies see this channel with those upside down Maple Leafs in the chat, they hate them. So make sure to become a member of the Patriots Club today and show your dismay towards the government. It's always a good time to see you guys. Again, take care.